As Josh draws near the ancient wall, a sense of foreboding overcomes him. He isn't sure why, but he feels this dusty structure may contain great danger. This right here is an ancient danger. Technically, it's called an ancient shrine. You've likely seen them before. They're these mysterious buildings found on your map. They spawn completely undamaged, and sometimes you can find two, or maybe even none at all. According to Rimworld Wiki, you can actually find more than two if you play on the larger map sizes. They might also spawn inside of mountains and hills, making them harder to spot. Anyway, these structures have been the bane of my existence in Rimworld for quite some time now. Ever since I first found out about them, I've always wondered how to take them on, more specifically, how to do it early. So today, I want to show you my primary way to raid ancient dangers, as well as a few suggestions that I hope you'll find useful. First things first, what does an ancient danger contain? There are normally three parts to an ancient danger. An initial enemy, which can be either mechanoids or insects, cryptosleep caskets and their contained ancient soldiers, and the loot. Let's talk about the initial threat. Aggressive mechanoids will attack walls and any players as soon as you open up the ancient danger. Non-aggressive mechanoids will not attack walls and instead roam around the shrine indefinitely. Do be aware that non-aggressive mechanoids will still attack you if you're visible within its range. On the other hand, insects will spawn with their hive and act similar to a normal infestation. As long as you're able to destroy their hive, the insects will no longer target you. Now, about the ancient soldiers, each of them carry their own loot, which can be gold or plasteel, drugs, food, and sometimes components. Some of them can also wear power armor. The ancients will be either friendly or hostile. Friendly ancients will not attack you unless you melee them, just like any other friendly, and hostile ancients will attack everyone who is not a hostile ancient. Okay, but how do you even deal with all of this? There are multiple strategies depending on your playstyle and when you plan to take on the ancient danger. There is, of course, the late game strategy of bionics and power armor, but that might be a little overkill. If you plan to raid it earlier in the game, you could build a trap tunnel, which would take care of pretty much everything except for centipedes. I would consider this to be the safest method in both dealing with the enemy and securing the loot. Another method you could do is to claim or build around the ancient danger and wait for a trade caravan. Once a trade caravan arrives, deconstruct a wall and hope that the trade caravan wins. The most dangerous method is just opening it up, punching a cryptosleep casket, and scavenging whatever you can. My favorite method, however, is to trap the ancients with mechs or insects. I would say it's the fastest, somewhat safe way to loot an ancient danger, although it might be a little disruptive. Essentially, what you have to do is to first chop down a few trees and build a couple of doors around the ancient danger. Here, you are trying to predict where the cryptosleep caskets are so that you have line of sight. Doing this early will buy you some time in case you have aggressive mechanoids or insects. Then you should claim any corner wall or other walls blocked by rocks before you review the shrine. This would prevent any aggressive mechs from attacking and destroying the vulnerable walls early. You should also try to claim any other structure or wall inside the ancient danger that was not visible before. Enemies will prioritize certain structures in the ancient danger, saving you even more time. Finally, if one of your doors has line of sight, deconstruct the wall behind the door and fire your weapon at the cryptosleep casket. You can use a door peeking mechanic that keeps you relatively safe by first standing at the wall next to the door, moving your character into the door, pausing the game before they fully go in, and then aiming at the targets. If you do this right, you can shoot through the door before the enemy can get to you or fire back by the time the door closes. After the ancients have been released, wait for them to kill the other threat. Then, if the room isn't already on fire, you could choose to claim the caskets, which will direct the ancients' aggression and explode when badly damaged. Finally, wait for them to get heat stroke and then strip them and take the remaining loot. But now, a couple of important notes before trying this strategy. First, the cryptosleep caskets can be opened without manually opening it. You can do this by punching or shooting at it. The pawn inside must be alive for all the other caskets to open. Second, you can deconstruct certain walls to see inside the ancient danger without exposing yourself. A valid wall you could do this with is a wall that is not a corner wall and is next to a rock. If your ancient danger is not next to a rock, you could instead place down your own wall door and deconstruct the wall behind. Third, watch out for the type of enemy that you're dealing with. Remember that aggressive mechs and hostile ancients will first target any structure claimed by you. This is very important to stall them out or make them hit specific objects. Insects can choose to dig through any wall even when not provoked, basically giving you a short timer to open the caskets. Once they are provoked, they will also target structures claimed by you. The preferable result is for the hostile ancients to be the last ones surviving, as they are the easiest to deal with. There are two simple methods to subdue the remaining ancients, either by utilizing heat stroke or by waiting for the leaving message. Ancients will set flammable objects on fire, which is basically any object made of steel or the cryptosleep caskets. If you can keep the ancient danger fully enclosed, the heat will build up to extreme levels and down any ancient inside. After the ancients are downed, you can deconstruct a wall to set the room to outside temperature. Just keep in mind that if you do this too early, the ancients can stand back up. However, they will not shoot you. The clothing can be worth a lot, and it can make up for the losses from the fire, so try to secure it as fast as possible. By stalling them out, you can get the leaving message, preventing any ancient from shooting you. Afterwards, you can just go in, grab a weapon, and shoot them. Or let them leave, whichever you prefer. This method is particularly useful if you don't want to burn any loot inside, or if you can't because of firefall. And lastly, remember that if you decide to raid an ancient danger early, you are risking your save or your map. If you cannot beat the ancient danger and you have aggressive mechanoids, it is better to just leave the map and settle on a new one. At the end of the day, you don't have to be exact with your strategy. I just think it's a good pointer. If you have a different starting scenario, you have more tools at your disposal. For example, here's a run where I just distracted the insects with my mechanoids and destroyed their hive. It's honestly pretty funny not using the doors and still managing to secure the loot. In another run, I had non-aggressive mechs, and I left the door open so the Minotaur can pathway outside, and then proceeded to lock it out. I think it could be a good way to choose non-aggressive mechs if you only have one or two of them. For this one, I didn't even build a single tool. Probably my favorite run, to be honest. I ran around and claimed random structures to distract the mechs, and then opened up the caskets. They were all hostile and fought the mechs, and yeah, I somehow came out alive. But the most impressive strategy I found out while recording is you can literally just scare off the insects and then close the door. Seriously, the amount of strategies you can do based on your situation is endless. Hopefully this video helped you understand Ancient Dangers a little more. Thanks for watching.